Say hi, everybody.
Hello.
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 Why? Yeah. Okay. Sexual Education Day, the most awkward day for all 6th graders. I remember that day being separated into 2 groups, boys and girls. All of us females lined up walking into the cafeteria, uncertain of what we were about to learn. It was a pretty big deal, but we all learned some valuable information about our bodies. We were all about to move into our teenage years, and after that class we felt comfortable with what was about to come. Whether you agree or disagree, during the teenage years, hormones start to take over and feelings start to happen. Although teenage sex rates have declined over the years, the rate is still high enough to cause concern. We need our youth to feel comfortable with one of life's biggest decisions. Sexual education should be taught in public schools to help our youth learn about their bodies, to help answer their questions, to prevent teenage pregnancies, and to prevent sexually transmitted diseases. It is one of the toughest talks you can have with a child, but giving them the proper information can help guide them to make the right decisions now and for the future. Puberty, the period during which adolescents reach sexual maturity and become capable of reproduction. Puberty is a huge deal during life. That's when things start to change in our bodies, that some children don't understand. Why? Sexual education prepares our youth for what is going to happen so that they can recognize what they are experiencing at that moment is normal and okay. Our reproductive systems begin to change, and that might scare some teenagers if they are uninformed. Unfortunately, some children don't have guardians or parents to teach them this normal part of life. This means that some of our youth go through this event by themselves. It can cause frustration and fear, and if no one is there for them, why can't an educated teacher help guide them through this process? The person who presents this information is well trained and can help answer questions that some may have. Teenagers have a lot of questions about sex, and unfortunately, majority of them go unanswered. Their questions can go unanswered whether it's because they don't have parents or guardians, or sometimes they don't feel comfortable asking them these questions. And parents don't even have or sometimes parents don't always have the answers to some important questions and can feel lost. According to a study conducted by Kaiser, approximately half of students in grades 7 through 12 report needing more information about what to do in an event of rape or sexual assault, how to get tested for HIV and other STDs, factual information on HIV and AIDS and other STDs, and how to talk with a partner about birth control and STDs. The same study also found that more than half of our youth didn't even have these conversations about these subjects with their parents. With some children having life thrown out at them without answers, it is possible it can lead to a problem that some of our youth are facing right now, teenage pregnancy. Although over the decades, teenage pregnancy rates have declined, the issue is still prevalent. According to a study published by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, in 2013, there were 26.5 births for every 1,000 adolescent females ages 15 through 19. So that's around 273,105 births born to females within this group. Teenage pregnancy affects whether these teens can continue their education during school and cause future problems with their finances. Some teenagers don't understand the responsibility of having a child and what it takes to care for a baby. Altogether, it's just ideal to avoid our youth from getting pregnant so young so that they continue receiving their education and push towards being successful, whatever career they decide to pursue. Sexual education teaches the students about what happens throughout pregnancy to how to prevent it. The trained teachers also help debunk popular myths that some teenagers believe, such as one can't get pregnant after the first time. The sex ed course provides information on how to use condoms or birth control. Sexual education become mandatory for public schools has the potential to decrease teen pregnancy rates and to even guide teens from having unprotected sex. Along with having unprotected sex and getting pregnant at a young age, young adolescents are at risk for sharing sexually transmitted diseases. Sexually transmitted diseases can be deadly, and without the proper education, it leaves our teens at risk. Found in an article published by NBCnews.com, according to Centers for Disease Control and the Kaiser Family Foundation, approximately 65% of all sexually transmitted infections contracted by Americans this year will occur in people under 24. 1 in 4 new HIV infections occurs in people younger than 22. That rate is high enough to cause concern on how these teenagers have such a high risk for transmitting these deadly diseases. Sexual education teaches these young adults about the health dangers of having sex. The educator goes over the various signs and symptoms of diseases so that the youth are able to understand the effects which in return can prevent STD transmission. In today's world, our youth is exposed to sexual imagery at a younger age, whether it's through social media or shows on television. Some teenagers don't have the courage to ask these questions or have the guidance of an adult. Would we rather have them learn on their own or by a trained professional? Sexual education should be mandatory so that our youth feel comfortable and confident in their body during puberty and make the best decisions for their health. What they don't know can hurt them.
Yay!